Hi there, I'm Timothy Linsdale. I'm a video producer, Christian. Today I'm going to talk a little about I suffer from Parkinson's disease. I'm not a health professional whatsoever, but I do suffer from Parkinson's disease. And some people want to know more about it. Personally, the suffering is not that difficult, except that you know it's affecting you in numerous ways. The other thing is I'm happy with my doctor and the prescriptions I get and the suggestions of things I should do to help me live with it. And I'm pretty happy with it. So I really haven't paid that much attention to the details, what the drugs are about that I use and that type of thing. But I'll tell you what I do and what works for me. You know, and if that helps anybody in any way, that's terrific. So, okay. Anyway, it's been, I forgot, maybe 3 years. I forget how long it is actually that symptoms showed up, and quite common. Starts in one hand, started in my left hand, and very slight tremor. So it's not really what I would say a direct test they can use to tell you have it. It's more like observation. But apparently there are brain scans, I think, that can show that your nerve cells aren't producing dopamine. And that's what is missing, is the dopamine. And dopamine is a substance that is a neurotransmitter between cells, the communication, that helps control your muscles. I'm not going to get any more detail than that because I'm not a medical professional. And if you need to know more, the internet's full of that information. Some of the issues can be rigidities like stiffness, the tremors, changes in speech and gait. My voice has been changing, I've noticed. What are you going to do? I don't worry about it much. I just press on. If there's any way to help, I do. You know, I look for things. One of the things that has, let's talk about the drugs a little bit. One of them is levodopa, and it's like a synthetic replacement for dopamine in the brain. At least that's what I've read, okay? And then there's another substance called carbidopa, and those two go together. And one of the reasons is the carbidopa extends the value or effect of the levodopa, and it also deals with nausea that the levodopa can give you. So this is just what I've read. Does it work that way? I do know that it seems to affect my digestive system and the way I feel intestinally. So I deal with that with prebiotics and probiotics, eating a pretty decent diet, that type of thing is important. So taking care of yourself is very good. Now, I started out with that. My doctor started on that carbidopa, levodopa, because it's apparently the gold standard for Parkinson's. And it was okay, but it didn't stop that. But later on, they tried a substance called entacapone. And it's an inhibitor. I don't even know what that means, why I haven't said it, sorry. I'm just reading things. But it's used in a combination with carbidopa, levodopa. And what it does is extend, apparently, the effect of the carbidopa, levodopa and it did. It had an almost immediate effect on me of extending the value of the levodopa. The other thing that I found, and my doctor's been real accommodating on what I take and how much I take. They will give me a dosage amount, and then based on how I feel, I'll adjust it. And I never adjust it up, I adjust it down. And I've been able to actually cut it in half of what I was given. But it's more about up to how you feel and how it affects you. And I'm not suggesting anything, I'm just telling you how it works for me. I've been able to cut it back. And I did that out of physical comfort intestinally, thoughts of if it has any effects on my liver or body. I have no information on that. I just feel better taking less if I can, and I do. And most of the time, it controls the tremors, and which is enough for me. The time that I have most struggles with the tremors are from stress. I do a lot of volunteer things and lead groups, so I'm up in front of people. And getting that entacapone added on really helped a lot to reducing that. And even though I will tell people up front that I have Parkinson's, that can be distracting for people, so I deal with it that way. Another thing that's, let's see, do you want to move on from that? Well, there's any other things. I have tried one other thing. I don't even remember what the drug is. It just pretty much put me to sleep, and I can't live with that. And also, that's part of the drugs that I'm taking can cause fatigue or being tired. For me, it does. So you have to deal with that. And I have a heart condition, so some of that affects it. So a diet for me is really important, a good diet. Another one is exercise. Exercise is pretty important from what I've seen on the internet and others have said. My doctor had me go to a Parkinson-oriented exercise system, and it's a lot of exaggerated movements. And it's a good workout, too, I've found. For some time, I used to ride a bicycle. I've kind of gotten out of the habit. I'd like to get back into it. But the rigidity, balance is a bit of a danger. I've noticed that. I have to be careful about where I step, or aware of the fact that I might not be in full control. I've always seemed to have good footwork so I can keep myself from falling. But I have to be thinking about it, that that I have this issue, and it could cause stiffness, so I don't move fluidly, and I can fall. And I believe for seniors, falling is some of the greatest cause of injuries. So you have to be, for me, you have to be aware of that. I have to be aware of that. Remember, I'm not a medical professional, so I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what worked for me and what I have to deal with. There are numerous things that go along with this that, from what I've read, affect everyone differently. One of the symptoms that I was told by my doctor is a sense of smell will be affected long before you'll see an exaggerated form of such as the tremors. That's what my doctor said. And interestingly enough, that happened to me. I was losing my sense of smell. And my mother had that issue, but whether she had Parkinson's or not, I don't know. But I noticed it because I was in the produce business for a long time. And sometimes, we can smell things in the produce business to know if things are good or not good. And I started noticing that people would notice things smelling that I wouldn't smell, or couldn't. And that was the first time I really noticed that. It didn't, I just thought it was something I was really getting used to. But come to find out, it was the Parkinson's, apparently. So my taste and smell are greatly weakened and diminished. And I've heard that for seniors is an issue for possibly eating and ingesting bad food or spoiled food, because you can't sense it as well. So that's something I'm aware of. Keep things fresh, and if it's going to be around very long, you don't want to have much of it on hand, that type of thing. So that becomes important. So for me, I found exercise, I feel better. Your muscles, the stronger and healthier you are, I think is better. Personally, it is for me. And I enjoy the exercise, especially enjoy hiking. Biking, I'm just not sure about now, but definitely enjoy the hiking. I have a nice river valley real close to me I can hike in. Mountains aren't too far away, but they're not as available as the river valley is. And I've done numerous videos on the river valley, which is really nice right now with the flowers and so forth. But anyway, I just want to let you know, my condition has stayed pretty in stasis, I guess. Eventually, as that the brain cells that die off, that produce the dopamine, and it gets worse and worse. So however that goes, it goes. But for you, it's going to be your own individual issues. You know, talk to your doctor. Look up some, good information on the internet. I mean good, something you can trust is good information. But personally for me, a good diet, exercise, aware of what's happening, and you live with it and make the most of it. So there you are. So I'm Tim Linsdale, and like and comment on my video. Subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot, and just have a great day.